My name is Amanda Iacono. I live in East Hampton, East End of Long Island, born and raised here. Been here all my life. We are at the Iacono Chicken Farm, Long Lane in East Hampton. But all of a sudden our customers, the ones that are here Memorial Day to Labor Day, they leave Labor Day, they were calling up in March and they wanted to order 10 and 15, 20 chickens, and we were wondering what was going on. Call after call came in for tons of chickens and people were panicking, and then we realized COVID was in New York City and the city was shutting down and people are fleeing out here. And then we got nervous, we didn't want to get sick. It's family run business, older people, young people, so we made a window, a pandemic carryout window, and we waited on our customers through the window. We took phone calls. At one point we were limiting the chickens to 1 per person, 1 dozen eggs per person, because we'd had, our winter capacity of chickens. It's normally quiet in March, and we do spring cleaning and play catch up, and all of a sudden it was like mid-August madness in March. So we started bringing in more baby chicks and raising more chickens, brought in more egg layer birds. We had more eggs, and a couple months later we were up and running and able to fulfill all the big orders. People wanted tons of chickens for their freezer still, and then the panic kind of calmed down, but we stayed very busy, and there's tons of new year-round customers. Everybody was buying up houses and moving to the Hamptons, and everybody wanted chicken for dinner, and the restaurants weren't really all open, and nobody was eating out, and everybody is cooking every night. So it is positive for business because we were very busy, and it was even more positive when we had more birds to sell and we were able to give all of our customers what they wanted for dinner and make our customers happy. But it was crazy because I was trying to, go to the grocery store for, milk and bread for my family and diapers for my baby, and the shelves were wiped out, and the toilet paper thing, everybody was panicking over that, but everything was wiped out. It wasn't just toilet paper, it was the meat and the eggs and everything, and then you're rushing to get to the store and you're waiting in these long lines and people are hoarding and panicking, and the capacity out here doesn't support that volume of people. The stores are more prepared for July and August, and they, bring in more stuff, they have more people working. But just to have like a winter inventory and winter amount of employees, and all of a sudden this August madness hits in March, and it was just crazy. The lines everywhere, and takeout, and places were closing, everybody's panicking. It was crazy. I would say some of the ones that fled from the city, not all, but some of them were very demanding and very entitled, and they thought that they could have whatever they want and they were better than everybody else, which, was a little upsetting. And then I had, our year-round customers that have big families of 6 to 10 people, and they were begging for 2 or 3 chickens and not just the one. And how do you make it fair? How do you give one person 3 chickens and the other person 1 chicken? So that was a little bit of a struggle. And then I would have, people in a car, and one lady would come up to the window and get a chicken, and she'd go back to the car, and another man would get out of the car and she'd come up and get a chicken, and they would get their 2 chickens for their family, but they want to feed their family. It was like, people doing things like that, it just kind of upset, because you're trying to make it fair and you're trying to make it work, and some people are taking advantage, some people understood, and plenty of people said thank you for being open. I don't think we closed a single day, except for Tuesday. We're always closed Tuesday, but we worked right through it. And the one part that really upset me was, this past March 2021, and the vaccine came out, and restaurants were starting to open up more, and people felt more comfortable coming out. A lot of our customers were like, when can we come back in the store? We're vaccinated. We're like, we're not going to open up the store right now. We're still going to do the window. We feel more comfortable with our family, doing everything through the window. And people were giving us a hard time about not coming back in. Not all of them, but that kind of hurt. You had people thanking you in March 2020 for being open through the pandemic, and then you have people kind of being cranky that you're not letting people in the store a year later. We were more just concerned about keeping our family and Grandma safe. Grandma's almost 90, and she still works every day of the week. She's a tough cookie, but her family, babies, wanted to keep everybody safe. This happened about mid-March, the influx of people. And, we call the hatchery in Pennsylvania we order our baby chicks from, and we have to call them about like 4 to 6 weeks before we want those chickens. They need to have those eggs. They have to put those eggs in an incubator in Pennsylvania. 21 days later, those eggs hatch. We get them at a day old, and then we start raising them, and it takes 5 weeks to get to a 3.5-pound bird. So now we're already 8 weeks in from day 1 in the incubator to the dinner plate. And if we raise them for a few more weeks to have the bigger birds, because we have a couple different sizes, then you're 10 weeks in. Plus those few extra weeks before you had to order it, so it's almost like 3 months. But our hatchery was able to accommodate and, send us more chickens each batch. So by Memorial Day, we had more chickens. People could get 2 or 3 chickens instead of 1. By the end of June, everybody could have 10 chickens if they wanted. But nobody was having parties, so nobody needed 10 chickens. And everybody's freezers were full. I think people are more aware of where their food comes from, and they're realizing, like, the small farms, that's where, animals come from. They're not coming from factories and feedlots. They're not coming off trays in the grocery store. I think people are really wondering, where does my chicken come from before it gets to the grocery store? And people are more aware of the small farms and more appreciative of it. And I think they know the quality is better, too, when you source it right from the farmer rather than the grocery store where, it goes along the supply chain. We have a lot of our, older customers that have been customers since before I was born, 30-something years ago, and we didn't see a lot of them for a long time. And a lot of them had, their sons or daughters or grandkids coming in to pick up orders because they still wanted their chicken, but they were all, 70, 80 years old, terrified to leave their houses. And so that was kind of sad not to see a lot of people, and then you don't hear from a lot of them, and then you worry, like, did something happen? And there's still a small handful of customers we haven't heard from in over a year, and I hope to God they're all okay. And other ones have called and said, I didn't want to leave my house. I had somebody getting my chicken and my eggs. I just wanted to call and thank you, and I'm okay, and I'll come back out when I feel safe. And so those are good phone calls to get. It's stressful because it's a small community, and everybody hustles in the summer, and we all kind of expect downtime in the winter, and it quiets down, and people go on vacation, you get a little break from the craziness, maybe you get some time off, and it was just full speed for a year. And it was stressful when you go to the grocery store and there wasn't the things that you need, and then you have to go to the grocery store and you have to wait in line for an hour. Can I say it on camera? Batshit bananas. That was my term all last year, batshit bananas. It's just batshit bananas crazy. I think the panicking is done. For a couple months we had a line of customers for 4 hours straight waiting for chicken, and now, people call up, they stop in, they get their chicken, they don't have to wait too long. It's going back to normal a little bit, and people have learned that little bit of patience they have to wait that extra 5 minutes. But hopefully we won't go back to the batshit banana stage.